Hello there, and welcome back to One Last Turn. I hope you have had a wonderful day so far. I have at least, and I've been looking forward to getting back into Transport Fever 2 and our every product, every city run. And I'm looking forward to spending a little bit of time together with you here whichever time of the day and day that you're watching this video. I'd like to just start off by saying thank you for being here and supporting me. It really means a lot. But let's just get right into it. Last time we focused primarily here on Corby and Wendover. We got some construction materials distributed very nicely, and both of the cities have become decently sized cities. So very good there. We talked a little bit about wanting to maybe increase the supply to Wendover and how we're probably at around 40, and that is the case. We are at around 40 out of 70, so maybe we can increase it a little bit, but probably not too much, to be honest, because an additional train would sort of tip it over. But I don't know, maybe it'll balance itself out. So we might try that. And then we talked a little bit about Broughton down here and a possible fuel loop, but we also talked about how that would be quite expensive, so that might have to take the back burner a little bit. I think to begin with, I want to sort of do two things. I want to increase our date speed back to regular, and that is because I feel like we have gotten set up a little bit. I just didn't want for it to go so fast in the beginning while we were setting up our money stuff and a little bit of whatever we could. But at this point, I feel like we're a little bit bottlenecked by our current technological state and our money. That is basically the two things that we're bottlenecked by. So I want to sort of increase that time there, and I want to add another ship or two to our money route, see if we can get our money up, our revenue, our value here up further. That would be really quite beneficial, because I think we are I've been looking a little bit around the map to try and see if there's something else I could spot between the episodes here, and really the only thing I can see that is like ready to dive into is this food production here at Hatfield, and sort of increasing stuff to or starting to supply Hatfield with food. And I do want to try that for two reasons. But first, I don't think it's going to make us any money. So the reason I want to try it is I noticed that quite a bit of forests are popping up when new industries are being formed. And we have two forests that we're currently utilizing. So my question is sort of, I wonder if utilizing forests here are making them spawn more. So I kind of want to set up this food production here to sort of test out whether that would be the case, because we are in need of food in quite a bit of places, but there isn't really any good places to start producing it except for right here. So I will set this one up as the first thing. We will start the game, and we'll have a regular date speed, so we can hopefully get some technological advancements that's going to help us out a bit. We are a few years away from the ones that are really gonna do us good, so that is still going to be like an episode or two ahead probably. So I think I am at ease with upping it to one here, and then we can maybe even we'll have to increase it if we can't sort of figure out what else to do, if we aren't able to up our money enough in this episode. But let's start out here at Hatfield, and we obviously need a truck station. And let's see if we can't find a nice cheap spot. We can go here, and we can go. I mean, we could go here, but the issue is then we can't expand without going into this field here, and that will be costly. So it probably makes more sense to be here on the outskirts, but that doesn't really connect. So we could be here. That does increase it a little bit. Does increase it a little bit, or it does allow us to increase it a little bit, but then we'll have them on the opposite sides of the road from each other, and we do sort of want them to be together there a little bit. So I think we'll place it around here. That's a little bit longer of a trek, but I don't think that's gonna matter much. And obviously we want to unload here in the city. We probably want to, I mean, it would be good to get all of the bread and sort of avoid all of this residential. So maybe if we sort of close the loop here on this street that was building, yeah, this is good. We get quite a few breads. Let's put it there, and then I just want to put a well, I'll show you, but basically we want to start here, go to the food, oh, it was saving, whoops, and down here to Church Street, but that makes it go through the main street by the residential areas. So let's just add a waypoint here on the other side of the street. That way we can add the waypoint as a station, and first of all we get a smaller amount of road, not a lot but a little bit, because we're not all the way through here, but we don't have to go through the main road, and that is gonna make the residents happy. Let's call this Hatfield Food. And we are gonna want to get a road depot. Let's just put it inside Hatfield in case we want buses or something later. And let's start out with 8 vehicles for Hatfield Food. Cool. And then we want to increase our rate here on the sea by getting another ferry. Let's just I think we want to at least. Let's just see. We have plenty wood here. Then we go to this one. This is also plenty. That's not stop 2, but it has plenty. Then we go to this one, and it is producing less than half of how much it can. So that shouldn't be an issue there. 60% transport though, but I mean, increasing by 25% shouldn't be an issue. And then we go over here, and that can definitely take more. So that shouldn't be an issue either. And then we can look at this one up here, which is the last one, and it's not producing anywhere near. So that should be fine as well. And we are doing much more coal, so that should alleviate some of that sort of bottleneck that we have there. Cool. Let's do it. Let's get another ferry. We'll just go for the same Wilhelm one, I think, and we'll throw that on one water line. And that is obviously going to King's Linns. We don't want that. So let's make it go to Ashton under Lynn. And let's just increase the speed a little bit. It should be no issue that these two arrive sort of at the same time because we have so much wood backed up. So it should be fine. Eventually they will stagger to a point. If we oversaturate the line with vehicles, they will stagger to a point where it's going to be optimal, right? Especially if we set sort of these full loads and stuff at the places that we want to full load, then they're gonna be fine with they're gonna stagger themselves out and stuff will be fine there. I think we can do with one more, to be honest. I think that might be sort of the maximum, but I think it will be fine to have. Well, it's a 50% increase, so we'll see, but 50% should be fine. But let's just take a look and see if our ships don't do just fine. I'm not sure which one I am most sort of intrigued by. It's probably this one down here. We might need to reduce the Eton logs thing here, and it's quite profitable, but I mean obviously the ships are more profitable, but then again this one might just level up like we did in up at Corby with the construction materials. Once these three reach this line, and then it takes a little while, and then this one levels up, and the rates sort of, or the limits, they double. So okay, we got a farm, which is, I mean, sort of. Oh no, it didn't really show me where it is, and it was a farm number 2, but it could be interesting. Let's just see if we can't find it. Industry, what was it called? It was a farm. Let's see here. It was a farm. It was called number 2. Something with L. Longtown Farm 2. That's down here, right next to the other one, and there isn't really a food processing plant inside, but it is interesting that that was the one that got built, because we were just... So far my hypothesis holds, is what I'm trying to say. Back to this anyways. Yeah, so this will probably level up, and then that means that the maximum rates will be increased. And then the question just comes here. This can't level up. This will become the bottleneck. This can't level up because we aren't transferring these tools anywhere. And I'm not even sure if we have which kind of industries we have that want tools. So no industries wants tools, so tools gotta go to cities. Okay, let's see, does any city want tools? We have Buxton, Ashton under L, and Worthing, and Longtown and stuff like that. Is there anything? So there's Eden. And Broughton, and Castleford, and Worthing. So Eden is the closest by a long shot. And we could send it via a caravan of road vehicles. That is definitely a possibility. But we'll see how much we get up here with the production. But that is what is necessary in order to scale this line further, probably. Is to sort of take these tools and put them somewhere so this one can level up as well and get increased limits. But we are cruising out there with the balance, and the ships are looking good. Southwick Oil Refinery is closing down. Well, that's all the way up here. That was actually the one that we were sort of wanting. To use, but there are other things to do, so it's fine. Very nice, very nice. This should hopefully get us that money that we wanted for setting up the fuel loop here in Broughton. And then we should probably, I mean, maybe Broughton is Broughton, or how you wanna pronounce it. Not British, sorry. Maybe we should figure out a way to get those tools over here. There is a bridge. There is the possibility of a long road, like caravan. It's just gonna take so much time, so it's probably not economically feasible. But maybe the ships can offset it. I mean, maybe the ships can offset it. Yeah. But we'll continue watching this tools factory and these other points as well when they've run a few loops. Let's just set it down to regular speed, and then what? Then we have a quick think, and I will be right back with you. So that is the ships increased, and we'll have to sort of see how it all sort of settles down with regards to production and stuff like that, shipment, everything. Production here is definitely getting up there, so until this one levels up, we probably can't increase it. We'll see. Our money is starting to be in a really I mean, we are increasing very vertically right now, and we could just let the game run like this for a while, get a bunch of money. That is definitely one way to play it. I think right now let's just look a little bit at the map and see if we can't decide on something. We have this. We want to do this. I think this is sort of the next step when we have the money, but we don't quite have the money yet. So we talked a little bit about extending the Corby Wendover construction thing down to Bridge and up to South Cave. Let's take a look at the contours here. Oh, can't close that. We can see there is a little bit of a hilly terrain, and there is a mountain pass here. Quite a few contour lines. So getting to South Cave is gonna be a little bit of a challenge. Not like the biggest issue, but definitely a little bit of a challenge, probably also money-wise. How about down to Burbridge. Now that is quite the difference in height as well. The entire town seems to be on what is like quite a hill compared to Wendover, so that is probably not the best either currently. Then we talked about maybe just increasing the throughput of construction materials down to Wendover. And let's take a look at the train here. Corby Wendover cargo. It is slightly profitable, and then about every third year it's twice as profitable. So let's see if this trend continues, then that means it's about 33% profitable. Then it could probably make sense to expand. Passengers looking a little bit better. We have a lot of bricks though ready for Wendover, just not the capacity. So question is, maybe we can increase the capacity on the train. Let's take a look. I don't remember. Oh, it's something about it. It's quite slow at getting to max speed, right? Even though we are going downhill. It doesn't get to max speed. Sort of like before the crossing here. Yeah, a little bit before the crossing, but it's not halfway, but it's at least 30%. So if we add an extra wagon here, that's gonna become even slower. So that's probably not anything that makes sense. Let's just look at this. These different layers, quite interesting. You can see here there's a lot of people using private transportation in order to go to Corby. So argument could probably be made that we could increase the capacity on the passenger train. But also we can't sort of make the train longer because, well, yeah, it's also quite slow, but it's a little faster. So maybe we could make it one longer. Or maybe we could upgrade it. Our first technological advancement, ladies and gentlemen. We manage this vehicle and sort of like says we want to edit it. Then we have a new locomotive. It's 15k more per year, but and how much is that? That's like 30%-ish. A little more. 35%. But it's also almost 30% more power, which means it can have more wagons. Let's try and see if we add one of these. Remove our own locomotive. It's gonna cost us 260k because our locomotive is a little old, so it needs replacing eventually anyways. Right, it's about halfway through its lifetime. We also need to replace some of the very bad vehicles that came up with a notification that I forgot about, but yep. And then there is these extra coaches. Now let's see here. How was it in the beginning? Now okay, let's add this back. This is how it is. 40, 29, 15. Okay. And then if we put this on instead, it's 40, 38, and 20. So that's quite a bit an increase. We can also... Let's see, this is a 30% increase in capacity, but a 2, so that's like a 40% increase in weight. Top speed can be faster, but the locomotive can't, so that's not gonna matter. Loading speed is the same, and the price is 15k high, so over 50% increased. So I feel like it doesn't really make much sense, right? You have over 50% increase in price, but only a 30% increase in capacity. It's also gonna weigh more, so it would probably just make sense to have extra of these coaches, at least for now, until we can get a train that can have a higher top speed. Then that's a different story. And obviously this one is gonna not be available eventually, but for now. Let's add a few more coaches. If we add 3, that is not entirely doubling, but it's a lot more capacity at least. Over 50% for the same speed. A little faster even. And how is the sort of rentability? We're making about 90, let's say 80k per year. Lifespan is the same on the engines. So over the next 15 years, we'll be making 80, so that's 800, that's 1.2 million. And then with the increase in capacity of over 50%, that would be $600k. But it's gonna cost us 700k to do. So that doesn't really scream profitable to me in 15 years, but after that, and it's gonna live for 30, so if we multiply that up, so through its entire lifetime, let's say we just make it to 25 years. Let's just count with 30 because that's easier to calculate. That's 2.4, so that's a 1.2, so it's like $500,000 in profit throughout its lifetime. And then $500,000 in profits throughout its lifetime, and then a little less than its lifetime, so maybe 400k. And we'll get more passengers through. Question is whether or not, so that makes sense in my head. Question is whether or not we should have this amount of cars or one less. It's gonna increase the speed ever so slightly. which is also going to help with the through rate. And this is still pretty close to 50%. It's also going to save us 150k. Okay, so I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 42 capacity. That's a good idea. Let's just try and see. 545k, 42 capacity. What if we go with 48 capacity with this one? Speed is lower. It's 1 million more. Does make sense. Then we are sure on that one. We need the new locomotive in order to do this. We can't increase the capacity really on the old one. So I think this is wait, why did it become 1 million now? Oh, because I removed them and added them back or something. Okay, let's undo this, say edit selected, take out the coach, edit that, and then just add 2 more here. It's because the coaches have also value depreciated, so there's no reason to replace them at this point, but eventually they will have to be replaced, right? The front 5. I think we'll do this. That makes sense, I think. Cool. A bit of a longer passenger train now, and a faster one as well. Cool. Let's see if the traffic sort of follows along with that. Maybe we need to sort of set up the feeders to change that up. We'll see. We'll see. Let's fix our very bad vehicles before they sort of break down entirely. I think, oh, let's put it at regular speed. I think there's still a little ways off until we unlock the next road vehicle, so why won't it let me do it here? Oh, that's quite annoying. Do I have to go through here? No. Oh wait, why couldn't I do that? Why wasn't the button there? Had I accidentally selected something I shouldn't have? Oh, that's weird. Anyways, there's a little ways off until we can replace it with better cargo transport by land. So for now, we'll just have to do the ones that get too very bad. Can I take a look at this one just to see the actual details? Yeah, so it has a year left. And how about these ones? These are a little older, I think. These ones are actually end of lifetime. Yeah, so emission is higher, and not sure if yeah, never mind. Okay, let's replace these. There we go. Costs us a little bit of money, but we're still pretty good, and our values just keep going up. We have easily like blasted through the 2 million mark. We have 3.5 million now. This route is really doing wonders for us with these ships. I had thought that they would. Okay, yeah. So they're stagnating a bit here. can't really follow along with the necessary supply of wood here. But we aren't shipping all of it, so we can for sure increase the amount of cars here on logs. How many do we have right now? Did it say we have 5? Let's just double it, right? The line is doing fine. Logs here, it's doing fine. Let's just double it because I don't want to do math. We'll throw those onto logs. That should take care of that backlog. But as I said, automatically when we sort of run into these sort of issues, the ships are gonna stack themselves at the appropriate rate, right? And then the hope is just that that staggering is like as efficient as possible. So we want to supply the right amount here, and that will then allow them to load at the correct speed, etc. Let's speed this up a little bit. See if we have quite a few here, but that should reduce a little bit. Let's see if we can't get the shipment up here. So that this ferry can fill up. Not entirely, but Michelinian oil refiners. So oil refiners are interesting because we do want to use those if they pop up in a good place. It does look like so here, so that's just how that is. This hasn't leveled up yet, which I am quite surprised about. We have lots on port here, so maybe it's because the ships haven't, I mean, they're a bit staggered right now. They're a little bit this was a little bit under capacity, so maybe that's why this hasn't increased. I mean, this has increased a little bit, but not a lot. King's Lynn Iron Ore Wine is here. That makes for possible loop here or here. Yeah, it's not that interesting. Could increase the throughput here a little bit on the locks. Should be necessary. Okay, this is going up now, probably because of this up here being dimensioned better. This one got full, which is good. In shipment and transport here still sort of looks the same, so we'll see. I don't remember what the rate here was, but 160 seems a lot more reasonable. It should have been half that, right? It should have been 80 because it doubled the amount here, but Who knows? So we have a ship 3 coming in here. Question is whether or not it will sort of add up. This one is done. Let's see how many end up being here in port until the ship arrives. So we are the curve did bend a little, and that's because we had this issue here, but once we have that fixed, then it should get back. And I mean, we spent a lot of money here, but we're still making pretty good profits. So nothing much to be too sorry about there. It's getting to about 50. About 60 by the time the ship comes in. $64. So it stays here just a little bit, and then it gets sent off. And then we actually have quite a while until the next ship, so I think it's gonna sort itself out now. The forest up here at least should be good. Let's just check a look at the finances for this. Obviously the expenses have doubled, so has the profit, so the relative profit should be the same. Now, how does this one look down here? Transport is higher, but shipment and production is about the same. How about over here? Well, shipment is still 0. Transport, but production is still well within range. So, I mean, we could probably throw a few more on here, but maybe we'll just wait a little bit before we do that, just to make sure. Then we can check back on our passenger line. I think that's quite interesting. What will be quite interesting? Where is it? It's here. Finances. Actually worse. Interesting. Why is when it's not running full, so that's an issue. What if we look back at this passenger thing? Same amount of people are using private transportation. They're primarily from up here, though. That's the industry. But there's some on this road. Maybe we need a feeder. Of course, some of them are coming from Halstead, towards Halstead. But yeah, maybe we want the feeder to a feeder bus line to go up here on Main Road. Right. A bus stop in this part of town. How do we want it to run? Let's have it here. And then the question is, do we take Wendy Station feeder and add it? That makes for quite the awkward stop. What if we add it as... Oh, actually... What if we take it as the last stop? Yeah, that could make sense. Let's do that, and then let's also get... how many stagecoaches are currently running? 2? Let's get 2 more then. Actually, let's get 4 more. Because I want to increase... I mean, I know there aren't really any people waiting here, but I want to increase for the added time for the ones that are feeding into the city. I want to increase for the added stop, which should be more people. That is the hope anyways. Now if this doesn't turn out to be able to fill up the train, then we'll just have to take off some of the carts. I still think that with the increased speed, this locomotive was worth it. So that is fine. How does it look up here? This is starting to decrease a little bit. I don't think we need to adapt Corby, even though it's also not running at anywhere near full capacity. So the income is back up where it was, but obviously the expenses are higher. Maybe we just at this point take off those extra carts, get a little bit of the money back. It doesn't seem like the interest is there currently, so we'll update it. I mean, and it's a bit of waste of money going back and forth like this, but that's the cost of doing business, I think. Okay. Sorry about weird drinking noises, but we gotta have a drink. We gotta have a drink. Water, of course, but still. Not what I meant. So how is this? This is going absolutely without issue. This is fine. This is also fine. Yep, everything seems to be fine on the water now. And we are back to being pretty vertical. And we just broke 4 million valuation. We have 2.5 million in the bank. So I wonder. Sorry about that. Let's just, before we do anything else, let's just check. How's it going down here by Hatfield Food? I had forgot about it a little bit. About 20k in profit. And Hatfield wants a lot more food. So let's give it some more food, shall we? Let's we have 8 running currently, so let's give it another 8. Might as well double that up, get Hatfield what it wants. Quite a big city, no doubt. Okay. We are on 3 million now. I think it's time we try out this oil or fuel loop. I think it's time. And we already know that we need to make this. So that's gonna be 2 million here between these two stations, pretty much. Let's see how it's going to be going this way, so that is a little bit downhill. Can't get more downhill than that. We're still underground there. That didn't mean to do that. I don't think we will be. Okay, we are actually. We are still a bit underground, or a lot underground. So if we run it into here, it is possible. Just have to place the station first, but it's 2.4 million, and it is sort of downhill, and downhill is fine in this case because it's going to be a loop, so we're always going to be driving in that direction. Right? Or it might be pretty flat actually with this whole. Okay. So that's 2.5, and then we need to get back. Oof. Okay, so we can do 800k. So that's 3. Alternatively, we have to go around. It's more cost effective to go through here somewhere. Probably here. Then we'll just have to do sort of like a loop around there. So we'll come here, we'll loop. We'll go back. Where's the shortest point? It's probably here. So we'll go through there. Anyways, that makes us like 3.5 million probably. Then we are down here in a sort of valley situation, and we probably want to follow along here this road a little bit, sort of almost back to, so we're doing sort of like a, it's gonna snake us around this mountain hill here, if at all possible. Right, so we'll go back to around here, and then we can go to the oil here. Somehow, without destroying too much. Then we'll go around the, actually we'll probably not do the fuel part by train. It's close to the city. It's very close to where the city wants the fuel. So I think we'll just do that by truck. So we'll loop around this. Then there is a hill there as well we'd want to avoid. I think we're looking at like 4 or maybe 5 million. We can start by placing down the start laying down the stations, and then slowly work our way through building up stuff, or the building up the tracks. I think that's gonna probably be the way to do it. That way we'll still earn some money, the remaining money that we are missing. Now let's see where contour wise would be the smartest place to have this station. So we have a cargo station. Sure don't want it like this. Down here is better, obviously. I mean, here could possibly make sense. I think it would, right? Because we're looping around like this, and then through here on the smallest sort of place. Then back here, yeah, I think that makes sense. And so the way the loop is gonna work, right? We're gonna make money going here, gonna make money going here, not money here, but that's fine. One thing to take into consideration is that really, to be optimal, the oil refinery needs a feeder well. So we'll have to see how that goes. Maybe trains are good enough. We'll see. Maybe it's not crazy profitable, but when trains get better, we can do it. Or maybe we'll have to do something about getting that oil well here on King Lynn. Getting that oil over here. Possibly via ferry. And then road, probably. But it could also be via a bridge, like a railway bridge down here. Then obviously there's quite a long distance this has to go back without any money. Yeah, not entirely sure, but we will see. And we have some more very bad vehicles that we gotta fix. I think we are still a little bit away. From new vehicles, so that's gonna happen a couple of times. Anyways, let's get back to building. Let's get back to building. Okay, so we want it to turn back around, right? So we probably have to sort of help it get there a little bit. I think here's probably fine. And then we need our station up here. I think it probably makes sense on this side, to be honest. Just because there isn't so much room here and it's quite hilly. It's a lot more flat here on this side. There isn't that much room for expansion though. That is one thing to take into consideration. For the town of Broughton. But it can expand in every other direction, so maybe it's not such a bad thing that we are sort of setting our sights, or I mean our station here. The only issue is we probably need to dimension it somewhat accurately, otherwise we'll have to destroy part of the town later on if we were to expand the station. Nah, let's just... I mean, we could put it up here. That's gonna make turning difficult. Oh, it actually isn't that bad here, so let's just put it here. Money-wise, it isn't that bad, and track-wise, we can get in there. Yeah, let's do that. And then let's start with the tracks going this direction. So, how much do we want the curve to be? Because that really determines how fast the trains can get out of here. They have some ramp up time regardless. I would really like to get them to 60. But I think that requires it to go this wide. And then they'll still be 60 over here. Yeah, I think that's probably fine. Then we'll go 90 on this stretch. 100 here. Had hoped to avoid this hill a little bit. Right? I mean, I would much rather sort of have a track here. Then it isn't that much of a difference. I mean, it's quite expensive. So maybe it is a little bit of a difference. I think it's quite annoying that you can't really do curves that much on your own. It's very difficult, at least. I would have liked this to be sort of curvy. So maybe I need to sort of make a straight stretch here. Then I'll make a straight stretch here. And then we can get a curve here. Then we just gotta get this to connect. And I know how this is quite a bit of tracks where the train can't go full speed, but I think that just is how it is if we want to avoid those very high costs. Do we have some fares going in? I feel like I'm spending not so much money and the money are going down quite fast. How does the chart look? No, we're still going up. Almost at 5 million now. Could theoretically pay back our loan. That's definitely a challenge one could do as well, right? Challenge run, how fast can you pay back the loan and have zero depth, zero anything? That could be quite fun, although it won't be that long of a challenge. Now where were we? We were here. Should have gotten it. Should go this way. Though that is also quite hilly. It is a little less. So let's connect those two. Then just gotta connect our track here. That's gonna mess up the terrain a little bit, so maybe we can avoid that. Make our own crossing from this side. How about now? Yeah, that raises it a lot less. And we are going sort of like slightly downhill, so I don't think it's gonna be an issue. Cool, that is one stretch. Now let's take the other stretch around the mountain so we don't... This is I mean, from the oil well to the refinery is definitely the most expensive stretch, so we'll just wait with that one till last. Don't actually mind going downhill here, so I sort of want to avoid cutting through too much of the terrain. And then here we can sort of make the ramp so it's more softened out, the incline. We want to end up over here. So what happens if we try to connect these two? It's quite steep. So maybe we can get rid of that. that section. Still quite steep. How about the next section? Sort of just want to minimize here the length of track where there's decreased speed. Let's do this for now, and then we'll maybe redo it later. 60 here in the turn or in the curve is a little bit of an issue with when we get faster trains, because it's gonna be difficult to get up this hill if they have to slow down here. But it's fine with our current sort of whatever you want to call it. Now let's go through this mountain here. I think the best point were something around here. So let's do that and see if we can't connect here. Then we need to go around here. $75K. We're just trying to see here if we want to spend more, trying to get the speed up a bit. A little bit of a... It's a lot expensive though. Let's see if we can't do 90 then. No, let's just do this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, just one stretch left. 2.5 million. Question is if we can do it cheaper ourselves by going through here instead of here. It does seem like we could. Let's try. This is where I want to do sort of like a curved road inside the mountain, right? Or a track. We have it here, and we want to have it here. That's gonna have to be fine. So we did save about $1 million there, so it can definitely be worth it. Although, let's just see here, if we had made this direct connection, entry point would have been a lot lower. So now we have to climb quite a bit. Then we go down again. It might come out to the same, it might. It might have, maybe I should have sunk it more. You know, you can, I could have done something like this and then be like, no, I want to go further down into the mountain. But I couldn't do that when I have stuff on either side, so I should have moved those out more, right? I should have had one here instead of all the way up here to match towards. That is the way it should have been done. But this is the way that it is now, so nothing to do about that. It's too expensive to undo it. Just lessons for the future. Let's connect this. This is connected. And how about this? It's not connected, so let's connect that. There we go. It's connected as well. And we want to get a depot. That might have been too close. That was fine. Okay, let's get a train for this ride. Or this, whatever you want to call it, this circuit. We'll go with the Borsig for now. In the future, there's obviously gonna be better locomotives, and we'll probably end up changing it out. But those extra horsepower is really probably gonna make a big difference with regards to climbing some of those hills. I don't know whether or not it's a medium or a high hill. I can't really figure out how high medium is. But already here, it's definitely medium, there's no doubt about that. Already here, medium is taking a bit of a hit. 15 capacity. I mean, to be good and nice and profitable, we probably want to be at least at 40. Probably more, to be honest. 60s probably. Then we can't get over the high ones. So we sort of have to pray that it's not a high one. I think speed-wise, a lot of the route is flat, but we definitely have some medium inclines. Sorry about that, I got briefly interrupted there. So yeah, 60 capacity is 60 capacity is probably good one, but it could be that it's too slow. Maybe we want to try and get to 30 on medium. That's half capacity. I mean, that means we can just run 2 trains. That will be the same rate. Actually, the rate will be slightly higher, but obviously the investment is also higher, and the maintenance costs. But I think this is what we can do at this point. So let's take a look and see whether or not it's worth it. We gotta set up the line, of course. We start here in Broughton, we go to Southam, and then we go to East. Why does it go back? I guess because the track is so long, so maybe we need to put a waypoint. And then there we go. Yep, had to do a waypoint. So now it's going in the right direction. And it start at Broughton, then Southampton, Broughton East. We'll call this Broughton Fuel Loop. And we will take our train, put it onto the Broughton Fuel Loop. And then we just need to put the fuel into as posit, just so we can get some pressure here on the... I guess the pressure that will be missing is just gonna be here, right? Yeah, I think we can start it. Let's quickly build though the truck station that we need. And then we want a truck stop down here somewhere by where the... And we're in the negative. We have the money there. Oh, cool. We'll need a line for this as well. That's gonna be Broughton Fuel Delivery. And obviously we are going to need a road depot for that. That can be placed here. And we'll just get, let's say 2 for now. That does Broughton Fuel Delivery. That way we can get some pressure. Even though actually pressure might not really be needed here. It'll just eat the fuel if there isn't any pressure. This is filling up nicely, no issues there. Let's follow along our train. See its speed. Can we see the speed? If we go into this mode, we can. So let's speed up the game time here, and we will go in here. This is a high what's it called? The slope. The slope is it's a high one, so you can see the speed got really low there. It would not have been able to carry more cargo than we are. Now luckily it flattens out a little bit here, and it should be going downhill, so it should speed up quite tremendously going through this tunnel. Yeah, there we go. And we do reach maximum speed before we come to the station here with the fuel. Let's just hop off, get 150k for transporting the crude oil there, and we could have stayed and waited, but I think it makes just as much sense, since we are doing the loop, to just defer it one loop instead of sitting here and waiting. We are going 40 into this, that's very nice, and we go 45 here. So far only the initial part of the route here is a problem. gorgeous landscape. Annoying autosave. I mean, through the curve here, it's not an issue with this train, and it's not gonna be an issue for quite a while, I think. I think it's gonna be a while until we get trains that can go like 80 or 100 kilometers an hour. Now, with that speed carrying into the turn, though, we drop not under 40. That's good. That is very good. And how much do we get for a single oil? 7k, so we're gonna get 15 times that, so that's like 100 something k. So that should definitely be profitable. And then of course now we are running the rest of this way empty because we got trucks doing the fuel. But we are going 45 on this section. So it's really just here in the beginning. We'll load up to 30, no issues there. And it is possible, just very rough. It is, however, such a small part of the route that I don't think reducing the capacity is gonna make sense. Because sure, it could complete this part of the route faster, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things of how long the route is, it's really not that much of an issue. Now let's keep following along a bit here. It's 200k per year to operate this. So can we also make some sort of resemblance of a profit? That really depends on the oil here. Because we get, it seems like it can do, it takes a little over a year. But maybe this cost was just getting to the station. That is a possibility. Otherwise it's gonna take a little over a year. Right around 200k. But if we get 100k from the oil here, then that's 50k profits. I mean, we have taken quite a hit in the value, but we are starting to climb again too, so it's not like it's that bad. But we'll just follow the train here and see. So it is slightly offset in the year. I mean, yeah, we are running on years now. 112k. So we do make 250k on a round trip. Then question is just how long is a round trip? Whether or not it's gonna even out. Let's though get these very bad ones. Actually, let's look at their detail. They are lifetime reached. I just want to stretch it a little bit because I think that in 1870 is when we get we get new vehicles. Okay, I'm gonna turn back down the date speed now to, I'm gonna put it to half. So it's still double of what we've been playing with in the previous episodes, but it's a half of what we've been doing this episode, just because I think that we have gotten new stuff and we don't want to sort of like keep just, at least for now, I think it makes sense to scale that back a little bit and try and enjoy some of these new options. Let's get the very bad ones. I wish there was a way where you could sort of filter it so to only show the very bad ones. But then I would have... Yeah, I don't know. It would have been nice. Quite a few very bad ones. We did build quite a lot of stuff at the same time-ish. Ship is getting where it needs to be sort of replaced soon as well. 21 years, so about 3 years left. But we should have the money for that. Let's see here. Replace selected vehicles. 45 vehicles. Whew, 1.3 million. 900k if we go with the old ones. That's 18 kilometers an hour, 4 capacity, at 1.5 tons. Or you can go with this new one, which is 2 kilometers an hour faster, which is 10%, a little over 10%. That's nice, and 1 extra capacity. So that's gonna, that's 25% more on everything, throughput and everything, and then a little bit more for the extra speed, so like around 30% probably, 27-30%, something like that. It also weighs a little less, so I don't actually know if that does anything. It is gonna increase our maintenance cost, but I think it's probably worth it. Let's get into the new era. You might have noticed there was another vehicle that I sort of just skipped over, and let's just look at this road depot. That's this one, Lobezan. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, I'm not French. Yeah. Anyways, it's for passengers only, so it's an upgrade of the stagecoach. It's steam, so the emission is higher. It does have more power. It does way more. It does carry 1 more capacity, and it's a little bit more expensive. So I mean, could definitely do this. I don't really see the need at this point. It doesn't seem that necessary of an upgrade, especially because it's actually slower than the stagecoach. So yeah, gonna hold off on that one for now, at least. Now, before we, I'm just gonna turn back to regular speed before we end off this episode, which we are quite close to. Let's just take a look at our investments here. This is the train. About 3.4 million, 3.5 million. So it has, if it's, if it only does 50k profit per year, hasn't made it through yet. Let's increase the speed. Wanted to make a couple of loops before I can say anything significant about the profit. But if it only makes like 50k a year, whew, that's gonna be many years. What, like 60 something years before it makes itself back, and that doesn't include the fact that we have to buy a new train like every 30 years. So it's probably closer to 100 years. But as long as it doesn't drain our coffers running, we now have this set up. Broughton is getting fuel slowly but surely. Yeah, this is definitely profitable. Seems to be like 70k ish. We'll see. We'll see. It does look sort of like it's sort of odd with the year. Also because I changed the scale. I think the round trip is probably a little bit more than a year. I guess we could sort of see that fuel loop. Yeah, so it's 25 annual throughput, and since it's 30, we can conclude that it is indeed doing. It takes a little bit longer than a accounting period. But I mean, as long as we are going up in value, I'm happy. That means that we aren't draining our coffers and we can continue. It means that our, if anything, then, if not for anything, then our ships are carrying us, and that's fine. That is the idea of them, to sort of subsidize all of these things that maybe aren't entirely crazy profits just yet, but hopefully in the future with increased technology this one will also become very, very profitable. Now there's one thing we can do, and that is sort of feed this refinery with extra oil, because as I said, it takes two crude oil to make one refined oil. So we are on this stretch here from Southern to the refinery. We're actually running at half capacity, and we can get 100k more out of this loop, which is just gonna be pure profit. So somehow we gotta get oil to the oil refinery, and the only one I'm seeing that's sort of close is the one here, Kingsland's Oil, across the pond, or across the river at least. And we're just gonna have to see how we end up getting it over there. I would like trains, but I mean, if we get 100k extra on the fuel part, but if it costs like 150k to operate this by a train, then it's not gonna be, I mean, it's a negative overall, right? So we're gonna have to find out a way. Maybe a road bridge is the way to go, and simply just running our new stagecoaches at 20 kilometers an hour instead of a train at 40, and just having enough of them that it makes sense. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It would be nice to add it on. It would be nice to have one last turn, but not this time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and setting up this fuel loop, amongst other small things here and there. I hope you want to tune in next week when we really supercharge the fuel loop by filling up the refinery completely. And as always, if you liked the video, please drop a comment down below. It really helps out a lot. Leave a like on the video. If you have any suggestions about the gameplay in this series or any future sort of series, please let me know in a comment as well. That's really, I really take it to heart and try and adjust if it makes sense. And yeah, please subscribe if you want to follow along, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. And goodbye. I wish we could have just one last turn though.